to taking exam after exam and measuring their results, when instead, sometimes you have to slow down in order to speed up. And that requires setting up a systematic plan of attack so that step by step, day by day, you know exactly what to do and what not to do. I've laid out a variety of LSAT study schedules on my website, and they follow a 5-step approach that I call the laser approach to studying: learning, accuracy, sections, exams, and review, so that you're learning the basics under untimed conditions before you give yourself that extra timing pressure. And that idea of half a year, that's really not too long. When you consider the importance of the LSAT or the GRE in your admissions chances, it's well worth making that time investment. It's oftentimes more important than your undergraduate GPA. So spending more than 2 to 3 months, ideally at least 5 to 6 to reach your fullest potential, is well worth it.
And I kind of definitely agree with that. So far, I think I've put in about 2.5, maybe 3 months for the GRE. And over that time, it's not like I've been spending 10 hours a day studying the GRE. Sometimes I don't study a day. Sometimes I study maybe a couple of hours. Sometimes I, put in work and study maybe 8 hours a day, do a practice test and review that practice test that day. But having that reinforcement over that period of time really helps me feel more comfortable with the exam. And now going to take it, when I take it September 21st, I know I will have put in the work, I've put in the time, I won't feel guilty like I could have done more. And you're not gonna, question the things that you could have done. Whereas if you only give yourself 3 weeks, I know some people have only studied 2 weeks for the GRE, yeah, they may do fine, but you're not going to be having that anxiety and doubt if you give yourself more time. You're never going to regret having more time as opposed to having less time.
That's so true. You don't want to sell yourself short on this. It's funny, back when I was studying for the LSAT myself, I took a cold diagnostic and got a 152. And I was pretty discouraged about that because I was hoping for a top 14 law school. I'd gone to a top undergrad, and it took me months to break out of the 150s. And I ultimately scored a 175 on test day. And it took me an entire year to get there. And so I'm not saying it should take anyone that long necessarily, but if I'd quit after 2 or 3 months, I never would have gotten to my goal score, and I would have never achieved my fullest true potential. And so if you're studying over a period of 2 to 3 months or longer, I definitely agree, Elizabeth. I think that you're not going to necessarily put in 8 hours every single day, nor should you. That's a recipe for burnout, in my opinion. And that's what I've seen from a lot of students who take full-length timed exams on back-to-back days. It just leads to burnout. But slow down, set a reasonable, realistic study schedule where it's maybe 10, 20 hours a week, especially if you have other obligations. And it's one of those cases where really slow and steady wins the race.